All right, drum roll, please. And the number one mucus-forming food that people think is healthy, avocados.
I don't want to sing no songs.
It's going to be okay, guys. It's going to be all right. No, man. I feel your pain. But we have to face facts. And the fact is that avocados are fat. And if you check out what Ehret has to say about fat, is mucus forming. Now, Ehret didn't specifically talk about avocados because people didn't really eat avocados like that then. It wasn't mass produced. It really didn't start becoming more popular as a commercially available food until like the 1950s and after. So it's not something that we've really been eating that's been like a staple. Now, what's happened over the years, people that get into different areas of plant-based dieting, if it's I know there's a lot of raw foodists that's like a staple, that they get right into the thing that is technically, I guess by definition, a fruit, but it's the filthiest fruit that you could want to eat. I wouldn't combine it with other things that I consider to be fruit. But let me read real quick what Ehret had to say about fat, and I think we can apply what he says about fats in general to understand why avocados are really not the best thing for us to eat. So Ehret ultimately asserts that fats of any kind, including the ordinary butter, are unnatural and therefore should not be eaten. And this is in the Mucusless Diet under transition diet. Then later he says all fats are acid forming, even those of vegetable origin, and are not used by the body. You will crave, and use them only as long as you can still see mucus in the magic mirror. In other words, still see mucus constipating the tongue. So it's right there, fat, and a lot of people say, well, no, it's not mucus forming. It's not, it burns clean away. It does not burn away clean. If you were to take a bowl of grapes and put them on the stove, boil up some grapes and then let them sit for a long time, it's going to turn into like kind of a syrup, and it's not going to be viscous. It's not going to be snotty kind of glue. It's something that would burn clean away. Whereas if you were to do the same with the avocado, it's going to be some nasty residue slime. It's going to be all slimy. And that's what happens in our body. That's why this particular experiment is something to think about. It's one way to almost think about anything you eat. If you were to take whatever you just ate and go boil it on the stove and then let it sit for a couple days in some kind of container where there was no oxygen, when you open it up, would it relatively not smell that nasty? Or would it be just incredibly viscous, nasty slime that smells horrid? And that's really going to let you know how bad the thing is. Now, the avocado obviously isn't the worst thing you can eat. But one of the reasons why I had to put it at number one on this list is because there's so many people that it's their staple thing, and they wonder why they start having issues. They wonder why, well, I've been raw for, I've ate, raw foods for the past 10 years or 5 years, or I'm trying to be fruitarian, and, there's all these levels and that people are trying to get into, but nobody's eliminating the mucus. Or at least very few in these other modalities, and that's their downfall. I'm all for raw foods, but raw mucus-free foods. You see what I'm saying? Raw mucusless foods. You can be raw all you want and eat all kinds of mucus-forming foods while you're being raw. You know, so for me, it's about mucuslessness. It's about mucus-free. And I would rather see somebody eat some cooked mucus-free food, like some steamed vegetables, than to, you know, be so adamantly against cooked food, but they're eating mostly, you know, starchy and fatty kinds of stuff. So that's why it's on there. I just want people to realize that avocados are something that really need to be dealt with, you know, and they're incredibly addictive. And I know I put myself on the chopping block. I went through a period where I ate avocados just because I wanted to be able to talk about it. My good friend brother Ehret, that's practiced a diet for Mucusless Diet for 30 years, has never eaten an avocado ever in his life. What he says about avocados is basically, why would I want to eat a fruit that's basically like eating French fries? I mean, that's a good question, I guess. You know, it's just such an indulgent kind of thing. And the other thing about it is, most people have to use some kind of condiments on it. I know I did. Like, I couldn't just eat raw avocado without squishing it up and putting all kinds of garlic and onion powder on it, and little lemon juice, and, you know, and just putting all kinds of stuff in it. You know, kelp powder or whatever, you know, and just, you know, it just didn't taste good without putting a bunch of stuff in it. You know, I don't have to put anything on oranges. I don't have to put anything on grapes. I don't have to put anything on blackberries or blueberries. You know, I don't have to put anything on what I call fruit. You know, it needs no condiments. Think about the concept of condiment. Half the time when people eat the stuff that's on this list, especially the meats and all that kind of stuff, what they really crave, what their taste buds are into, are the little condiments, the bitter, the sweet. You know, put a little sugar on this, put a little salt on that. You know, make the little sauce on this. Take all the condiments out. Take the special sauce off of your Big Mac. You know, and all the little seasonings, the proprietary owned seasonings that all the places put on their meat to make it taste a little different than the cat up the street. You're probably not gonna like it. You know, you're not gonna just like you go out and you kill an animal and then you eat its raw flesh with no condiment on it. Condiment is to disguise the taste, to literally make it palatable, so that you can eat it, so that you can. It's a way to deceive your senses so that you think that you're eating something that's pleasurable. But it's devastating, you know. And so what I like to see is the consciousness needs to rise. People need to get to a point where we start to, once we understand that mucus-forming foods are not meant for human consumption. Once you understand that does not mean that you're hard on yourself, that you're like, oh, woe is me, I'm so addicted to this. We're all addicted to it. I'm still addicted to it to a certain extent. I don't know anybody that's been totally mucusless for like 40 or 50 years. We are all on the transition, and we're all on this transition together. Some people are going to be able to go faster than others, but this is not a race. This is about being here, to be here, you know. And so don't be hard on yourself, but be educated. Investigate this. Don't take my word for it. Get the Mucusless Diet book. You want to see, I talk more about avocados. I actually have a statement from Brother Ehret in my ebook, Spira Speaks. So check that out. But understand that human illness comes from these toxic, acidic conditions that are derived from uneliminated, undigested, unnatural food substances that sit up in the human body from childhood on. That's the Pandora's box. Eliminate that stuff from the diet. My book, if I can do another shameless plug, Spira Speaks, is not a diet book. It is a lifestyle book. It's about how do you transition to a mucus-free lifestyle. and it deals with a lot of issues that you're going to come across in your transition. That's my top 10 list. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something from it. And comment below. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. All that good stuff. Check out my ebook. I think you'll dig it. And that's about all from me. Thank you guys for watching this. Peace, love, and breath.